What's going on, guys? I wanted to do a quick follow-up video, kind of a long-term review of my Medfords. Um, as most of you know, I've had a lot of them. Some of them didn't stick around. These four did, for different reasons, and of course I'm a huge Medford fan, no secret about that. I have them here in order of purchase. This is my newest one. I've had it a couple of weeks. This one I've had for months, and I'm a huge overbuilt knife fan, as most people know, but I love this knife. Had some issues with it as far as warranty, sent it back in, got it fixed, and I think they essentially replaced most things on a knife. It's essentially a brand new knife, but I've carried it a lot since I've gotten it back. For me, for a knife to stick around, I do knife reviews, so I want to get a lot of knives through here. So sometimes I'll let go of a knife just to get another one. So for a knife to stick around, it has to be pretty special, because I've, just over the past several months, I've had literally a few hundred knives. This one is a winner, and this one's going to stay. The issue I had with it, I think, was like a one knife, or I heard one other guy out of 1,000 or so they've sold of these had an issue, but it was fixed and hadn't had an issue since. So this is Medford's least expensive offering that I know about. I think they're $290 retail. You can find them on the secondary for $200. This is a cool flipper. It checks all my boxes. One, it's a Medford. I'm a Medford fan. You get all the Medford quality in the build, and awesome hollow grind blade and S35 VN, tumbled finish on the aluminum. The bearings are smooth as butter. The flipper tab leaves a little bit to be desired, but you don't need it. I mean, this, every time I operate this knife, I just push the button and fling it out. It's a great fidget knife. This is the one I've had the longest, and I give this 100% thumbs up. Okay, this is my first large Medford, and I fell in love with it the first second I saw it. Hasn't been a single issue with it. Medfords take longer to break in than other knives. That would be my only concern. If you don't know about Medford, you may think your knife is just stiff. But I went a step further. After carrying this thing for a while and, flipping it and opening it, I ended up loosening the detent. Oh no, warranty void! I turned it a fraction of an inch, and it made all the difference in the world. This knife is smooth as butter, because the washers were already broke in. Everything was broke in as many times I've opened this thing over the last few months. The pivot was just a little bit tight. I mean, I just barely turned it, and it made all the difference in the world. This is my favorite finish on a knife. Just a light bronze anno, raw finished, raw blade, S35, 100% home run. I love this knife. Okay, this one I purchased not too long after this one. This is the Proxima, and I think these knives are actually in order of my favorites, except for these two. They would probably be a tie. This one has everything the Belay has, but it has the killer flipper tab. I think it has an even better action. I like the shape a little better. I like the more squared off knives, kind of like the Marauders. The action on this one is stupid good. I mean, it is broken. Same thing. Just a tenth of a turn on the pivot made all the difference in the world. There's no play whatsoever. You can take tension off the lock bar. There's no play at all. I could even loosen it some more. I just checked it, and it still doesn't have play in it. So I got enough tension on it. So this one gets carried more than any other knife I have. It's one of my favorites. I was worried about that flipper tab sticking out too far and not liking it, but it's completely not an issue. I love this knife. I have a Marauder H in this finish on order through Wild About Sporting Goods through Gill. And once I get that, my world will be complete. It's got the same finish. Okay, I just recently did a review on this one. I've had this one a couple of weeks. Of course, I just bragged and raved on it, and I still feel the same. A few issues, or one main issue. I don't know if the lock bar, and this thing's still new, it's not broke in. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this knife. I start to get a hot spot right here when I close the knife. It's really tough to push that bar over, the lock bar over. It seems like the lock bar pressure is extremely strong, but it may have to be because this knife is so big. I mean, I'm not messing with it. Just saying, after a few times of closing this thing, my thumb gets sore. That is a little bit of a hot spot right there. Other than that, this knife is killer. I mean, everything about this knife is awesome. I love it. It's the pride of my fleet. It's probably, these two together are equally my favorite knives in my whole collection. When I purchased the Smooth Criminal, I loved it, and it went through a little bit of a warranty thing, got it fixed up, and as soon as I got it back, it was like having a new knife again. I carried it for several weeks after I got it back because it is the perfect size EDC for anything. I mean, you can stick this in your gym shorts or whatever and carry it in a, you know, fidget factor, and it's just a cool all-around knife. For a knife that size, I don't think you're going to find a better one, in my opinion. Of course, I'm a Medford fanboy, but take that for what it's worth. Yeah, when I get my Marauder H, it will probably be right here. I got a feel it's going to be my favorite. I had the Marauder H and PVD coated handle, PVD coated blade, and it was used from another guy, and it was heavily used. It was scratched up pretty good. I loved the knife. I hated the finish. I just don't like coatings, period. I only own one knife with a coating on it, and it's a tumbled coating. It's not a real shiny, thick coating, and I don't know if this knife's going to stick around that long, to be honest with you. It just doesn't quite fit me. It's a great knife, but it just doesn't fit me. I'm a Medford and Chris Reeves kind of guy, and those are the knives that tend to stick around in my little small collection. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a wrap up. Have not found anything with any of these knives I'm displeased with, obviously, because they're still here. I mean, you guys have seen me sell lots of knives on here. If they're not, if they don't check my boxes 100%, I get rid of them because there's lots of great knives out there. And this, you know, it's just my style. It's what I like. There are plenty of great knives out there, but I'm a Medford guy. Hey, thank you guys for watching, man. I'm glad to be a part of this community. God bless you. Talk to you soon.